Hey YouTube, Firestar307 here, and I have for you today a Madolche deck profile. I managed to pick up everything I needed at the sneak peek, and I got the second pudding cess I needed today from a friend, so I will get right into the deck profile for you. Right now, the deck is not nearly at its full potential because Tiramisu and Messenger aren't out yet, but right now this is definitely still in testing, but this is what I've come up with so far. Two Madolche pudding cess. For those of you that don't know much about this archetype or what these cards do, I'll kind of go over them a little bit. All of the Madolche monsters, so all of these right here, have the effect that when they're destroyed by your opponent's card, either battle or card effect, and sent to your graveyard, you shuffle the card into your deck. So they're recyclable beyond all reason. But Pudding Cess is level 5. They're all Earth, by the way, too. So, as you can see there. Pudding Cess is 1k on each stat, and her effect is that if you have no monsters in your graveyard, she gains 800 attack. So she's 1800 usually, or she should be anyways, most of the time, in this deck anyways. And whenever she battles with an opponent's monster, after damage calculation, destroy one card they control. So she gets out there and she just kind of pokes at stuff and blows things up. And there's another card in here later. I'll show you that combos really, really well with her. There's a couple. And then Madolche Madolche. She is effectively the Stratos, to coin the phrase, of the deck. When she's normal or flip summoned, you can add one Madolche monster from your deck to your hand. And she can search herself too. But one of the things to do with her is summon her and then search for this guy and then just protect her for a turn, because this guy searches for the field spell. But I'll get to him in a minute. Madolche Chevalier, all French sounding. A guy in a piano suit on a pony with a candy cane sword. His effect is the same as the rest of them, and then your opponent can't target face-up Madolche monsters for attacks except for him. So he's kind of a meat shield. He's not that great, but he's got bigger stats, and you need more Madolche monsters to run in here, so you run him. And he combos kind of well with some other cards. And then Madolche Butleresque. When he's normal summoned, you can add one field spell card from your deck to your hand, as long as there's another Madolche monster on the field. So in this deck, you're going to add the Madolche field spell, but he can be splashed, I suppose, in other decks, as long as you have other Madolches. And then two Madolche Bapple, little sheepy critter. This one's effect, same as the rest of them, and then once per turn, you can target one face-up attack position Madolche monster and one face-up attack position monster your opponent controls, and change them both to defense position. And neither monster can be changed. Their battle positions can be changed until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then the last one is Madolche Mufle, the waffle cat as I like to call it. Has very measly stats, but he's sort of a marauding captain. If he's normal summoned, you can special summon another Madolche monster. So a really nice combo with him is summon Mufle, get Bapple, change their monster defense, and then exceed for a rank 3. And yeah, I can also make a sort of combo strategy video on this if people want me to. Just leave comments, or if I get like 20 likes on the video, I'll do it anyways. And then for spells, 3 of the field spell, Madolche Chateau. When it's activated, you shuffle all Madolche monsters in your graveyard back into the deck. So if you've exceeded or anything like that, it recycles all your monsters. And then it also increases the attack of all Madolches by 500 attack and defense. And if a Madolche monster would be returned to the deck, you can add it to your hand instead. So if she's on the field, you summon her, she dies, you can just get her back to your hand and abuse her effect even more the next turn. And then one terraforming, because you have Butleresque already. And the field spell is very important in this deck, giving the attack boost and letting you abuse the recyclability of your monsters to no end. And then one Book of Moon, Dualities, and Dark Hole. I do not run Heavy Storm, MSTs, or Monster Reborn in this deck. Sounds kind of strange, but it's very stun-esque, so I don't run the Heavy Storm and MSTs. And the Monster Reborn in this, I will never be reborning my own monsters. Hardly ever. Since they all go back into the deck. I could take my opponent's stuff, but I'd rather take the room for other cards. And then I have 2 Madolche lessons. This is target 1 Madolche monster in your graveyard, shuffle it back into the deck. If you do, all Madolche monsters you currently control gain 800 attack and defense. And then you can shuffle one other monster in your graveyard back into the deck. So this does allow some splashability of other monsters, I suppose, but I'd rather not risk it for the sake of putting cess at this point, which is kind of what the deck has to go around. And it gives your Madolches quite the stat boost. With the field spell, most of them become very, very big. Butler-esque would become, let's see, Pudding Cess would become a 3100 beat stick with both the field spell, her effect, and Madolche lesson. And then in this deck you run 3 Fiendish Chain, because you can't run Veilers, because they go into the graveyard, and then Pudding Cess's effect doesn't work, and you're just sad. So you run 3 Fiendish Chains instead. And then 2 Safe Zones. This card works great in this deck. It might even go up to 3, because a lot of the Madolche monsters revolve around having another Madolche on the field, like Butler-esque. You have to have another one on the field in order for him to search for the field spell. So you can summon her, search for Butler-esque, and if you can't protect it any other way, you can safe zone it. I mean, there are other cards, Deep Prison, Mirror Force, etc., but that's a very solid way to protect it. Also, if you safe zone Pudding Cess, you can keep attacking your opponent's monsters and just picking their cards apart while she's safe from any of the things that they can do to her. And then 2 Deep Prisons, protect from attacks. This deck is built for next format, because that's when these cards will be legal anyways. So we don't have to really worry about Inzectors a whole lot. So 2 Deep Prisons, 2 Mirror Force, 2 Torrential right now. Torrential is a card that I might even take out, because the Madolche's effects read destroyed by your opponent's card effect, and Torrential destroys them yourself. So I mean, I might keep it in because it fodders the lesson, but more playtesting will tell. And then Starlight Road, Dark Bribe, 2 Warnings, and 1 Judgment. And then that concludes the deck. And then I have 2 Exceeds to show you that also I think will work very well with the deck. They're both from the new pack. One is the Fairy King Albrovich. He takes 2 level 4s, and then you detach material on all non-earth monsters, lose 500 attack and defense. And like I said, all of them are earth, so he works well on this. And then Soul of Silver Mountain. His effect is that you can detach 1 Exceed material to target 1 set card your opponent controls in their spell and trap zone, and it can't be activated while this card is face up on the field. And if it destroys your opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 1 earth monster from your graveyard in face up defense position. So you can go Kitty, Waffle Cat for Pancake Sheep, for Soul of Silver Mountain to detach the sheep, and then run something over and special summon the sheep again, and still have no monsters in your graveyard. And his last effect still applies even if he doesn't have Exceed. Oh, nope, I lied. He has to have Exceed materials for that last effect, so he's still pretty good for this deck, I think, because he can bring back any of the Madolches. It's too bad she doesn't work when she's special summoned like the actual Stratos, but this is my Madolches, and I hope you guys like it. Give me some comments and feedback about cards to run and whatnot. And one last word, I'm not going to run Ultimate Offering because it's limited to 1 next format, and I don't want to try to just run it with 1 and have it be inconsistent and silly. But yeah, this is the deck for now, and see you next time, YouTube. Bye.